looked into that, but
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So, what was I going to say? So yeah, you said, I think you said that for some of the college, or maybe even all of it, I don't remember, it is government subsidized, right? Like it is government paid for,
Hmm.
but
Yes,
you only get like one try, basically.
it's for all of the colleges. Yes.
So what I'm trying to remember exactly,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
this was years ago when we talked
yeah,
about this, I remember you mentioning that it was yes, you had the free colleges or whatever,
yeah,
um, but it was
yeah,
like you had to do it right, and if you didn't do it right,
yeah.
then
First, you have to have a requirement. Okay, so when you finish your high school or Hauptschule,
Hauptschule, yeah,
they want you to have a certain GPA,
hmm,
right? Which is probably, if you compare it to the Americans, uh, I would say a 3.0,
okay,
right? So that's the first requirement, and then you can apply. If you have less than that, you don't even need to apply for it. So then you apply for the college, and they look at it and they accept you, and then you can apply for um, it's like almost like a scholarship kind of thing.
hmm,
It's from the state, but it depends on how much money your parents make,
okay,
right? So if your parents don't have a lot of money, they subsidize it. They help you with the payments. They give you monthly payment,
gotcha,
which is really not much. I can tell you that. So because I remember,
yeah,
it was
well,
really not much
yeah,
though. But it covers usually like the stay, your room,
hmm,
which you only have half of the room. And in my case, it was only half of the room.
hmm,
You have to provide for your own food.
hmm,
Food is not in it,
yeah, yeah.
but
I remember you
electricity.
mentioning the stuff with the
Well,
ramen noodles or whatever.
yeah, but you have like electricity, of course, and
Yeah,
water.
yeah,
You can get that,
yeah.
uh, but you have to pay for your own rides and you have to pay for your own food.
Hmm.
So
So you had to like pay for the bus tickets to go
yeah, go to the
to
college.
either
Yeah.
every what is it,
Oh, it's
weekend?
a train ticket. Yes.
Train ticket, right?
Yeah,
Train
yeah,
ticket.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
okay.
So you have to pay for that with that money. So really, it was really much money left. So
Yeah, yeah,
uh,
yeah. But you mean, would you say comparatively it was substantially less money than we're paying now?
yeah, I mean, okay. So since we were poor, my mom, she qualified. Well, I qualified for a like this scholarship thing, right?
Hmm.
So every month I get like, what was it, 400, was it $450 or something like that,
Gotcha.
Deutschmark,
Deutschmark, yeah.
450 Deutschmark. But then the room itself was a month was 150.
Okay.
The room was 150, a half of the room.
Yeah, yeah.
Then I had to get a bus ticket for the month was 50
That's actually not
marks.
bad.
50 marks.
So hold on, wait. You
But
mean
that was a bus for the bus only. That was not the
that's
train.
true? That's not.
So
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah. That's
train
right.
was different. The train was different. You get you had to pay. I think it was like 50 mark also, but that was just so you can get a student rate, which makes every travel a little cheaper. I think I only paid
Yeah,
like $35 or
yeah.
something like that for 35 marks. I'm
I'm gonna
I'm
try
not
and
so sure.
remember
Yeah,
something. I'll let you finish, but I
that's
gotta try and
that's
remember
one
the thing
way.
with the bus.
Yeah,
But is there any
my
more to
bus
that?
was from the Bahnhof home.
So what? I guess I'll just ask now because we're talking about it. From what I remember, when talking to my German teacher,
Hmm.
um, they had like some system where you were to pay for, or sorry, if you were like a student
Hmm.
who was, going into the schools and whatnot, they don't have school buses like we do in the U.S.
No.
But instead they give you like a pass, and the pass works on the regular buses. So essentially, you would go onto the regular buses for free or cheaper.
Yeah. I mean, they knew they have the regular buses, and they transport the school kids. So as a school kid, on school times, you didn't have to pay for it.
Gotcha.
So you just got in the bus.
Oh, okay.
You know, it's just because the bus driver knew.
Yeah,
Okay,
obviously
I'm
these
gonna
are.
go. This is the morning. You know,
Yeah.
7:30, and all the. Okay, yeah, and all the kids, you know, are getting ready to go to school.
Mhm.
So, and he stopped at every bus stop, and when all the kids they came in there and didn't have to pay for it, of course.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Makes
And the
sense.
same when school was out,
Gotcha.
because it was out at the same time,
Yeah.
all the kids. So.
So, when talking about like grades and whatnot, there's like a system. I think there's like a system where instead of it going like F, B, C, A, whatever, right? It goes like eins, zwei,
drei.
which in English would be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then
Right.
6,
Yes.
where 6 is like a failure.
Yes.
Yeah. But from what you told me, or from what I remembered, it's the barrier for a fail is a little bit lower, as in like the equivalent of a 6 would be like a 50 or something, instead of it being like a 70.
Yeah. I mean, no. Yeah. I mean, okay. Let me say this. If you have a eins, a 1,
That is perfect.
that is only 100.
Yeah.
Everything under that is a 2.
Well, not everything
it-
under that.
Huh?
Well, not everything.
No,
under
I
that.
mean everything is like 90, between 90 and 100 is a B.
Yeah.
So not 95, not 98. That's a B. It's not an A. Yeah, and then that goes down to 3, 4, 5. I mean,
So that's
the school system. I don't know how they count the Fs. It's just that, hey,
well, didn't you grade
fail.
papers? You were a teacher, right?
You fail, and you couldn't do it.
Yeah.
No, but we didn't have that system though. It's not that.
Oh.
I mean, the school
Okay.
is, since I was a kindergarten teacher, it was different.
Gotcha.
So it's not the same system. We
Okay.
don't have that. But the school, their system is, it's different. So.
Okay. So you would say it's pretty difficult to get an eins.
Oh yeah, that's only 100.
Yeah.
Try to get 100 and everything.
Yeah.
It has to be perfect. And usually it's not like you do open book learning or something like that. You have to memorize everything.
Yeah. It doesn't.
That is like terrible. That's why I know it's terrible in the way the Germans had to learn, because you have to memorize everything.
So did you ever get like an eins in anything?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, okay.
I did.
Like I said,
one of my,
does not sound like an easy feat.
No. One of my strengths in school. Oh, and by the way, we had like honor classes in the Hauptschule. In the honor classes in the Hauptschule is teaching you the same thing basically that the people in the Realschule learn. So, and
Gotcha.
my English and my Mathe.
Mathematics.
Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
And chemistry.
Yeah.
That was my strongest.
You're good at math, huh? What's the square root of 49?
Don't
Answer
ask
7.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
So did they have like the same basic kind of system where you have like math, science, biology, stuff like that?
Yeah.
And it was split into different categories?
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Geography, geometry.
Geometry.
Wir haben Erdkunde. It's like
Earth something, dirt
science,
something,
earth science,
earth science.
which is science.
Yeah,
Or
it's like
it's
geology.
not. It's yes, geology and more like can't think of the word right now. Geometry, not geometry. The other one,
No,
geography.
geography.
Yes, so
Gotcha.
geography.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and then we had history, which is Geschichte.
yeah. And that's another thing I was going to mention with history. Did you learn? Because like with me as an American, I learned U.S. history and whatnot. Did you
Mm,
learn German history, like
yeah,
in terms of like the Holy
yeah,
Roman Empire,
yeah, yeah,
German
yeah,
Reich,
yeah.
stuff like that?
Habsburg, and there was so much stuff in history
Yeah,
to
there's a
learn.
lot of stuff in
So
history.
much, yeah,
Yeah, that
and so
does
much
sound.
stuff. And when I was a child, I was like, nah, okay, I'm not that interested in
Yeah,
what
well, I mean, if it's a lot,
dead people did back then. I don't really care.
yeah, that's the same mentality I had
Yeah,
until like recently, and to a certain extent, I still have that mentality. Stuff like 200 years ago, I don't really care about. Stuff that happened recently that like still affects
yeah.
us to this day. That's a different story.
But surprisingly, even though I wasn't that interested when I started learning history,
Hmm.
but a lot of things got stuck in my head.
That's probably a good
Like
thing.
I heard name Robespierre
Yeah,
before,
Robespierre.
the Magna Carta, things like that. That it's like, okay, yeah, I heard about that before.
Hmm.
So words are what they teach. Some of the stuff is really got stuck
Yeah,
in my head.
that's kind of like the thing with me where people talk about stuff with chemistry or
Yeah,
biology, and I'm like, I know that's a thing. Adenosine triphosphate, that's a thing. I don't know what it does.
yeah.
I think it's just energy. I think that's literally what it is. But I mean, I don't know. It is interesting to look and see some of the stuff going on with different types of classes.
Apropos energy,
Hmm.
and we talked about that before, but I want to tell you again about
Okay,
it
yeah.
because I think that was a very interesting theme.
Hmm.
And we talked about
Energy usage,
energy, yes,
like
and we
solar.
had that in science, right? So we had that in science in school, and we had at that time, I think I was in eighth grade or something like that. So that was in the 70s.
Hmm.
Um, we had a very uh, curious and interesting teacher who thought of it to invite us all for a field trip
Ooh.
to go to a place where they just invented the solar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, which means they didn't invent the solar, but
Well, like
where the
just.
solar was, they built a house, and that was new.
Mhm.
They built a house that was completely run with solar energy
Hmm.
at that time. So, and they showed us exactly how the solar worked, the panels and everything. So
That sounds
that
pretty
that
cool.
sounds very interesting to
Oh yeah.
me. And I was like, oh man, that looks like the future,
Yeah. You're like, when I
because
go to Georgia, when I go to South Carolina in
yeah,
30
right.
years, not even 30 years, like 50 years,
Yeah,
I'm going to go
get
to,
get me a solar
yeah, exactly.
panel.
Yeah. Yeah. 40
Yeah,
years, sorry.
yeah.
Yeah. But, I
Uh,
mean,
I, I
yeah,
didn't
that was an interesting thing we were
think
talking
of
about.
that, but I know that it's a memory. It's stuck in my head, and
Yeah.
I learned a lot from it actually. And what really impressed me was the fact that it is good for the environment,
Hmm.
and they, really pointed it out that the sun energy is there. You don't have to harvest nothing. You don't make no. Um, you don't have to get into the earth and take stuff out from the earth. You don't
Yeah.
have to, because you take what is already given to you.
Hmm.
What you get anyway. You just,
Turn it into energy.
yes, you just harvest it. You don't have to change nothing
Yeah.
around
Yeah.
it. So which is a good thing. And like I said, it's a very environmentally friendly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I definitely agree.
So that like I said, that was in the 70s. So that was a very
Yeah, that's a long time
great
ago. They've
experience.
definitely upgraded.
Yeah.
Germany's relatively good, not necessarily the best, but they're pretty up there when it comes to
No, they
clean
were. They
energy.
were. They were.
Though they probably were
They
at the
were
time.
number one. Like not that long ago, maybe like 10 years ago, they were number
Yeah,
one in
yeah.
solar energy.
I just know
Yeah.
that like some of the other countries are also doing really well, which is good.
Yeah, they catching up. I mean, but yeah, you had a lot of houses in Germany about 10 years ago.
Hmm.
A lot of the houses that were changed into, uh, solar panels on the top on the roof.
Yeah.
So yeah, which is good. So we got a lot of energy from there.
Yeah, yeah.
It's always good. We're gonna make it to 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And
So,
then we should, yeah.
one last topic, not related to any of that, but I just think it's interesting.
Okay.
And you might not know that much about it, but I do want to ask. So, how does Germany differ in terms of legislation, like laws and voting and stuff?
Okay. First of all, I mean, like I said, I can only say my experience from when I lived there.
Mm-hmm.
Things might have been different right now, or might have changed. I'm not so sure because I've been invested more here in the United
Yeah,
States
for sure.
the last 20 years than what happened in Germany.
Yeah.
But what I know is that, first of all, there is not an issue of money when it comes to, voting, election, right?
Mm-hmm.
So here, people have to put in a lot of money, which they do, in order to get somebody elected,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
You mean like campaigning and whatnot?
campaigning,
Yeah.
exactly. You don't do it like that. I mean, from what I remember, there are some you hear about. Okay, this is somebody interested for the job, and he is that shows him in an interview on TV, in the news or something like that. But it's not really advertising.
Mm-hmm.
They don't do that.
That's
It's
interesting.
not like, we the best and
Yeah.
this guy sucks.
Yeah.
and
We're better
whatever.
than them. Yeah.
Right. And then specifically, don't tell no lies, and whoever gets the most money is given on the top and stuff like that. So that's the difference.
Well, that's one big difference. Yeah.
That's a big difference. Yeah.
So,
And I think that each candidate have a budget that they get or
Okay.
have or something, and then I hope for you. We're recording this.
yeah, you can have either.
We're recording this now.
You can have the fries. That's fine.
Yeah.
So I've heard from somebody, and I think they were from Germany, but I'm not sure. Is it a system where, like, instead of really voting for a person, you're voting for a party?
Yeah.
So they have that. Okay.
Yes. And the party has a person there too.
Yeah. Well. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was.
So sometimes you say, okay, well, I don't like that person in that party. So, but usually you don't think like that. You don't, because if it's this party, what the party stands for, not the person has to be standing for the same thing that the party stands for.
Yeah. Otherwise,
Not
they wouldn't
not
be
the
part of
other
the party.
way around. Not like,
You can have somebody.
here you have people. They stand for something, and then the party moves away from what they stand for. And
Yeah, you have some people who make decisions that definitely do not align with the party. That's for sure.
yeah.
That being said, so do they have a system like in the U.S. when it comes to, well, two interesting questions. I guess one is, three interesting questions. One is, even though you're in the U.S. right now, can you still vote and send in your votes for any kind of elections?
I probably could. I never tried it though.
Fair
I mean,
enough.
I'm still German, so I still have my citizenship.
Yeah, that's true.
So, but on the other hand, I don't know like I said, wasn't invested in politics that much
That's fair.
in
Yeah.
Germany, so I don't know if I would make the right decision. I would have to
Do a lot of research.
research before,
Yeah.
and then. Well, I did that before because I voted in Germany before,
Yeah.
those years, but then I know what those people were standing for. Now, like I said, it's more here.
Hmm. And that's fair.
Yeah.
So, like, when you were in Germany, how often, at least at the time that you were, voting and whatnot, how often would there be like public elections? Because like in the U.S., it's like every 2 years, uh, and every fourth year it's a presidential election, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken. Is that right, Dad? Yeah.
yeah, I think from what I remember, it's every 4 years.
Every 4 years.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I don't think we have anything 2 years. I don't think so. I think it's every 4 years. But I could be wrong, so I'm not 100% sure about that.
I gotcha. So when it comes to like the head of state, like you have the president and the chancellor and whatnot, do the citizens directly vote for the head of state, or do the governments vote for them?
I think they pick the person and then you can vote for him.
Okay.
I mean, it depends on probably what party it is that you
Gotcha.
vote for.
Because I know in some places in Europe, I don't remember exactly where. That's why I was asking. I know in some places in Europe, you vote for the parties, and then there will be proportional representation, like 40% of the vote gets 40% of the seats and whatnot. And then after they have their parliament, the parliament itself, they vote for the head of state. Like they'll vote for the president or whatever.
I think the difference between Germany and here is that, from what I remember, none of those people in politics are like farmers or somebody else besides politicians. So you have, in order to work for politics, in politics, you have to have school for that.
You have to be
So
like a politician of sorts.
Right. So you've been to, college, gymnasium, and a university, and your major was politics.
Yeah, so you know what you're talking about for the most part.
So you cannot just which was here the case, like Trump.
Yeah, he didn't have any political backgrounds.
Exactly. So and from what I know, and I remember it was like that. Although the people that work in Germany in politics, their majors are
as part of
in politics, so they know the history of Germany. They know things like that. So.
Yeah. And when it comes to like any kinds of elections, do you vote in terms of like the Bundesland? And then like basically what I'm trying to ask is, does the whole country vote for the representatives, or do they vote for the Bundesland and then the Bundesland vote for the representatives? If you know the answer, maybe you don't know the answer.
I think you vote for everything.
You vote for everything?
Yeah, you have. What I remember, it's a big page. So you have your people from the Bundesland, and then you have your people on the top, and
the federal
you have your
government.
people here, and So the only thing I think you cannot vote for is, like, if I live in Rheinland-Pfalz, I cannot vote for the person in Hessen.
Yeah.
So I think that is something. But you can vote for, like, somebody that works for the government.
Yeah, it's like how we can vote for state representatives, like a mayor what is it? Governor.
Governor.
But we can only vote for the governor of our state. We can't vote for the governor
in another state.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Because it's not what it's made for.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be your representative, not anybody else's. So then that way they could put people in charge who don't have the best interest at heart.
And they won't even be there, They won't even know what's going on.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah. That was, it was a good talk.
Yeah. in a long talk.
Yeah, well, you know.
But it was a lot of information, right, about Germany. Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, it's interesting to know about the differences because not a lot of people I know specifically
Hmm.
have had any kind of experiences you've had where you've spent a long time
Yeah.
in two different countries,
Yeah.
and especially knowing the differences of the country I was born in
Right.
and how it's kind of different. And I'm assuming there's still
This
a
is
lot of
only. I was gonna say this is only a part of it.
yeah. There's a lot of different
There's a lot
differences
more.
everywhere,
Yeah, and then
like
I
in terms
mean,
of laws.
this we what we just talked about is education and politics. So that
Hmm.
was just one lane or two
Yeah,
lanes, but there's a lot of other lanes also
I would. Oh, sorry. What's up?
that goes into it. We talked about all that before,
Hmm.
like with immigration or
Yeah,
with the languages, where the languages come from, and all
yeah,
that stuff.
yeah.
So there's a lot more to it
I would
that
say
we.
as a, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. I just do this as a generalization based off of my research and what you've told me. I would say that in general, Germany tends to be a lot more strict in a lot of different regards.
Yeah.
Like when it comes to how clean your water can be, dimensions of buildings and whatnot,
Hmm.
how much pollution they can have.
Yes.
Uh,
Pay more taxes, that's for
yeah,
sure.
pay more taxes. Yeah, definitely like gun control and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, I would say in some ways, Germany does have a lot more
You can move.
restrictions, but they also have. It's weird because I feel like, in one hand, they have more restrictions, and on the other, they have more freedoms. And I think that's partly because it has a more representative voting system, where things
What
that happen, you
what they say is that the German is more like bureaucratie. I
bureaucratic.
know. Yes.
You want the mayonnaise?
Okay, you can give it. I don't know if you.
That oh, okay.
So yeah, so it's more bureaucratie, which on one hand is good, on the other hand is not so good.
Yeah.
Because it takes a long time for things to get done.
Yeah, that's possible because it has to
The,
go through a lot of different layers to get
yeah,
approval and
yeah.
whatnot.
But it has on the other hand a better oversight. It's
Hmm.
like when you have more people who are um, um, what you call it, checking things out. I can't think of the word right now.
Surveyors?
No, 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 no. You put people in charge of it, and then they have to check out and see that things are done right.
I think I know.
Like a supervisor kind of things,
Supervisors.
but
Yeah,
it's not.
that's not really supervisor.
No, it's not supervisor.
Checker
But
uppers.
yeah, but you have to those people. The more people who do oversight. So make sure, like the FDA here,
Hmm.
make sure that the food are the standards, regulations that they fall under it, right?
Hmm.
So if you take those away, then people do whatever
Yeah.
they want, and then people get poisoned, for example, or sick from the food because there's no regulation on it.
Hmm. Hmm.
So the more regulation you have in this case, you have more security, but
Yeah.
it takes
Takes a
a
long
lot
time.
longer.
Yeah.
Yes, it takes a lot longer.
One last thing I want to remember. So in Germany, and I know this is a fact because I know we talked about it and it was recent. In
Hmm.
Germany, it takes it's a quite a bit harder to get like your license, right, for
Hmm.
driving
Oh
license.
yeah.
And part of it is like you have to learn like what is it called? You have to like have some medical training of sorts.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
What am I
CPR,
CPR? I don't know. I was
first
trying to say
aid,
HPC.
first aid.
Yeah,
You
first
have
aid.
to. Yeah,
Have
you
some
have
first
to have.
aid
Yes.
training or
Yes,
something
you
like that.
do.
And I
Yeah,
learned that I was
that's a
like,
requirement.
hmm,
Yes, that's a requirement. But first, before you get your driver's license, first of all, you gotta have money. I
yeah,
mean, unlike here, you pay what 15, 20, $25 or something like that.
I don't know. You paid
Uh,
for it, so
yeah, I think it's like $25. Unlike here, you pay about 2,000.
2,000 Deutschmark or euros.
2,000. Yeah, No, I don't know if it's 2,000 euros. It was Deutschmarks back then,
Yeah,
but on the other hand, it's many, many years ago.
yeah,
So it could be maybe 1,500 euros right now.
yeah.
Okay, so when you compare that, the main expensive thing is you have to pay for the classes that's
Yes.
required. You have
Yeah.
to go to the classes they teach you there, like school, right?
Hmm.
So you go there in the evening, and it's like I think 1 or 2 hours, and you pay for that, and you have to do at least 12. That's the minimum, right? And then you take a test. And after the test, if you pass, you're good to go. If you don't pass, you have to take the class again. You have to pay for it again.
Wow.
And then you get your driver's lessons. You have to have at least 12 hours. I think it was
12 hours.
12 or more. I think it's 12 hours of driving
Okay.
lessons that you
Okay.
have to, and that you have to pay for
Hmm.
each one of them, right? And then you pay for differently for the going over the Autobahn, Landstraße, you going through the regular traffic, and things like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Also, the extra payment, a big payment is later on for your um, exam or for you to get your driver's license, right? So
Hmm.
there's somebody coming in there like here too,
Hmm.
but then you have to drive like for 30 minutes or an hour with
Hmm.
that person, and that person tells you to go here, and then they write everything down,
Yeah,
and then
that's
they
kind of
see,
similar to what
yeah,
I
they
had.
see, hey, did you pass? Did you fail? Whatever.
I would say the notable thing for me when I was learning is I did not learn in any way from my training because I distinctly remember this. I'm like, I don't know why we didn't try this. I didn't learn in any way how to, or practice in any way,
Yeah.
how to drive on the interstate, which was odd to me because it was all just driving around like intersections and long roads, but never anything on the interstate. So I kind
Yeah.
of learned that myself, and obviously, that's not necessarily a big deal for me. I've been driving on the interstate for a
Yeah.
long time. I have to drive
I
on the
mean, I
interstate to go
think
to
we did,
college.
though. I think we did,
Yeah, we
but I
did, but I'm
mean,
saying it's
yeah,
in terms of the training.
yeah. When we had to. That was not a requirement, but we
Yeah.
got you a driver's training app or
Hmm.
something. So yeah, I mean, to learn the basics, I think. But we drove. I know we drove through the interstate
Yeah.
from here to Fort Jackson or something like that.
Hmm.
So going on the
Because
interstate.
that was basically what I was doing.
Yeah, because
Anyways.
it scared me. I remember. That's why I remember it scared me a
Yeah.
lot. So when I
But
was going there.
it was a good time. I do think that it's almost an hour, right?
Yes, we
Um,
finished the hour.
yeah, yeah.
One more
Um,
minute.
so I guess next time, I think it would be interesting to talk about. I don't actually know if you're really qualified to talk about it because I feel like that was past the time that you left. I was gonna
Okay.
say how your life has been influenced by Germany. I guess
During
that
the
you're
war and stuff.
No, 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 no. I was gonna say how your life has been influenced with Germany becoming more heavily integrated with the European Union, right?
Mm.
Like recently, because the thing is that a lot of that stuff is recent, where they adopted the euro. That's a
Yeah,
new
yeah,
currency.
yeah.
They have the Schengen area where there's no borders,
Right.
and the
Yes.
immigration laws changed completely.
Yes.
And then they have the coal and fishing rights,
Yeah.
and obviously, I don't think that specifically affects you, obviously, but I think that
I
would
mean,
be an
we
interesting
can
thing to
talk
talk about.
about it the next time from the beginning of when the wall was there, the Berlin Wall,
Yes, yeah,
to when the Berlin Wall was
kaput.
breaking down, and yeah, then a lot of things has changed after that. So,
Yeah, yeah,
and
it
I
would
can
be
tell you
interesting.
about how I lived before, how it was before with the West and East Germany, and then
Hmm.
how it changed.
Yeah, and throw in the Chernobyl incident
Oh
because
yeah,
apparently that affected you and
yeah, yeah,
a lot of
yeah,
people in Europe because
yeah.
radiation.
That's true.
Um,
Okay.
and yeah, I think that's and I guess the end of the Cold War as well because
Yeah.
I mean I was not alive at the time during the Cold War, so
Okay. So
Yeah.
good.
Maybe
nice,
even-
nice talking to you.
Yeah, nice interview. It was an interview.
Nice
Yeah.
interview.
I mean,
nice
it technically is an interview.
yeah, I know.
But yeah. Oh, and maybe also, like I said, we can talk about some of our lives, more personal stuff in terms of like where you were going for college, or
Yeah.
what you were doing when I was born, stuff like that.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
anyways, yeah,
Okay.
thanks.
We see.
And
Good. Well, we see you. I see you around every day.
yeah, I'll see you. I'll see you around. Well, I'll see you around for like another 2 weeks or whatever. I don't know.
1 week.
1 week.
Yeah.
Is it really 1 week?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. But see, that's why I wanted to
Yeah, I
talk
know.
with you
That's
now.
why. That's why I'm doing it now.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, I appreciate it.
Okay.
Well, thank you, Mom.
Good. Mwah. Love you, son.
I love you too, Mom. And thank you for listening in.
Okay.
Bye for now.